You've likely witnessed it. Someone fiercely defending a public figure who blatantly lies to them. A celebrity caught doing something shockingly senseless, yet still praised. People jumping on confusing trends that seem completely illogical. Online mobs erupting in outrage over topics they barely grasp. And you find yourself asking, how? How can someone be so sure and so wrong? Why do millions proudly support ideas that are clearly irrational or misleading? The answer isn't straightforward. It goes deeper than poor judgment. What we're facing is a quiet but powerful shift. Something that feels less like real life and more like a warning ripped from the pages of a dystopian novel. This is the slow breakdown of critical thought. Even though our base intelligence isn't necessarily shrinking, what's being lost is far more valuable. Our capacity to think clearly, question logically, and stay intellectually grounded. This isn't a sudden collapse of knowledge. It's the spread of what some call a stupidity epidemic. And it's happening gradually, subtly, hidden behind digital distractions, fake confidence, and tribal behavior. We now live in a world where fake facts spread quicker than truth and rage often shouts louder than logic. But how did we get here? What's truly behind this rise in intellectual apathy? Let's break it down, point by point. Reason 1. Tribal loyalty over independent thinking. Group outrage gives people a place to belong, a mission to carry out, an enemy to blame, and a personal sense of identity. Humanity has always been tribal. Long before modern civilization, our survival depended on sticking with a group. And while we've advanced in nearly every area, the instinct to split the world into us versus them still pulses deep within our brains. This is the basis of what psychologists refer to as social identity theory, the idea that much of our self-worth is wrapped up in the groups we associate with. When our group is celebrated, we feel pride. When it's attacked, we feel personally threatened. Because of this, people don't just disagree with other perspectives. They view them as threats to who they are. And that's exactly where intellectual decay begins. The more insecure we feel, the more we cling to tribal certainty. In moments of confusion or fear, our brains crave simple answers. Tribalism offers the easiest solution: us versus them, right versus wrong, good versus evil. It's emotionally rewarding because it saves us from the harder task of thinking. Instead of searching for truth, we search for reassurance. Today, tribalism has gone far beyond politics or religion. It's now about identity itself. People define who they are by pointing out who they're not. And once someone joins a group, even questioning its beliefs becomes a betrayal. Independent thought is seen as rebellion. That's why so many hold on to absurd ideas, even when they're easily disproven. Because reality is tough. It demands introspection. It demands discomfort. But anger is simple. And when your anger is mirrored by your tribe, it doesn't just feel easy, it feels noble. Even if everything you're shouting is completely untrue. Look at the world George Orwell created in 1984. Every day, citizens participated in a government ritual called the 2 minutes hate. They screamed at the enemies of the state and praised Big Brother in robotic unison. There was no space for thought, no time for reflection, just blind repetition of slogans and groupthink. In that world, critical thinking was a threat, and loyalty to the tribe was survival. This is the core of today's stupidity crisis, the collapse of individual thought in favor of social approval. The fear of challenging the group, the refusal to confront widely accepted delusions. We've stopped thinking for ourselves. We've picked comfort over truth. And the cost? It's enormous. The moment we stop questioning what we're told, the foundation of truth begins to rot. When we prioritize emotional comfort over intellectual effort, we don't just become misled, we become unmoored. This doesn't happen overnight. It's slow, it's subtle, and that's what makes it so dangerous. The human brain is wired for stories, not statistics. So when a compelling but false narrative hits our feed, we're far more likely to believe it. Not because it's right, but because it feels right. And that feeling of being right can overpower the desire to actually be right. That's why conspiracy theories flourish. That's why misinformation spreads like wildfire. That's why people defend absurdities, cling to harmful beliefs, and reject obvious truths. Not out of malice, but because they've been conditioned to favor feelings over facts. We are not facing a lack of intelligence. we are facing a crisis of awareness. Our culture no longer prizes intellectual humility. Instead, it rewards certainty, even if that certainty is dead wrong. And that brings us to the final, perhaps most dangerous driver of the stupidity epidemic, the collapse of intellectual humility. We've grown afraid to admit we don't know something. In the age of endless opinions, everyone feels pressure to have an answer, instantly. But the wisest people among us are often the ones who say, "I'm not sure," or "let me think about that." Unfortunately, in today's discourse, admitting uncertainty is seen as weakness. Doubt is mocked, nuance is ignored, the gray area is erased. But the truth is, intellectual humility is the starting point of wisdom. When we can't say, "I don't know," we stop learning. When we can't say, "I was wrong," we stop growing. And when we can't listen, truly listen, to others, we shut the door on insight. The future will not belong to the loudest voices. It will belong to those who stay curious, who ask questions, who challenge their own beliefs before attacking someone else's. That's the kind of thinking the world desperately needs. Not louder opinions, but better thinkers. Because if we want to reverse this decline, this creeping epidemic of confident ignorance, we have to start where it all begins, in the mind of the individual. With you, with me, with a single decision, to question more and assume less. Because stupidity isn't just annoying, it's dangerous. So what do? We start by reclaiming our minds. That means resisting the impulse to instantly react, and instead learning to reflect. It means replacing blind certainty with honest curiosity. It means realizing that disagreement isn't a threat, it's a chance to learn. It's not easy. Everything in the modern world is designed to distract you, provoke you, and pull you into conflict. But if you can stay present, if you can pause before you post, think before you defend, and question even the things you want to believe, you've already stepped out of the spiral. This isn't about being the smartest person in the room, it's about being the clearest one. Because right now, clarity is rebellion. In a world that rewards outrage, attention, and unthinking allegiance, choosing to stay grounded, to stay thoughtful, is one of the most radical things you can do. Don't let the noise make your mind lazy. Don't let the hive do your thinking. Don't let false certainty rob you of real understanding. The world doesn't need more opinions. It needs more minds turned on. If this resonates with you, do 3 quick things. Like the video. It tells the algorithm this is worth spreading. Subscribe so you don't miss future videos on psychology, culture, and human behavior. Drop a comment. What's one example of stupidity that truly blows your mind? Your voice matters. Let's make the comments section the smartest place on YouTube today.